So bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. My name is Antoine Bayargent, and I'm the program coordinator here at the Ottawa branch of the National Association of Federal Retirees. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which the branch office is located is traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. So on behalf of the branch, I'm pleased to welcome you today to a webinar on back and posture presented by Meg Stickl-Kroeker, owner of local business AIM Fitness. So Meg specializes in fitness for adults over 50 and has been working in this field for over 15 years. And as you may know already, we love collaborating with Meg, and we are proudly in our 3rd year of working with her. And she offers our members fitness classes every month. So we're happy to have her back today. In today's fitness class, Meg will focus on improving your posture and strengthening your back with a variety of exercises that she's used when working with individuals with osteoporosis or chronic back pain. Veuillez noter que le webinaire sera présenté en anglais, mais la participation bilingue est toujours encouragée. I do want to give a special welcome to anyone here who is not yet a member of the association. So we hope that these webinars will inspire you to join us. And to our members, we hope that these webinars will encourage you to maintain your membership. Remember, you can always give the gift of membership. To learn more, please click the link in the chat box that I'll post in just a minute. After today's webinar, the Ottawa branch will send you a follow-up email with instructions on how to access the recording of the webinar and more information on Meg. There will be a question and answer period at the end, so please type any questions you may have throughout the session, and Meg will try to answer them at the end of the presentation. So now I'm going to turn the presentation over to Meg.
All right, good. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Microphone is good. Awesome, awesome. I just had a little laugh because William just sent a message saying he saw my SUV on the road. And it's, if you see it, you see it. It's a well-branded AIM Fitness Mobile. So make sure if you do see me on the road in Ottawa to give me a honk. All right, so we're going to get started shortly. Today's session is going to be very practical, hands-on. We're going to be doing some exercises for your back, for your core as well. And before we get started, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the work that I've done with clients and the type of people that I've helped. So maybe you're here, and actually I'd love to know, so if you want to let me know in the chat, leave a 1 if you have chronic back pain. Leave a 2 if sometimes your back bothers you. So maybe that's from sitting, maybe it's from doing too much, or maybe you wake up with a bad back. And then leave a 3 if you have osteoporosis, and leave a 4 if you have spinal stenosis. All right, so I'm just gonna have a look at the chat. All right, so a few people with chronic back pain. All right, some, yeah, back is bothering you. All right. Okay, awesome. Good, yeah, so let us know. It's nice to know who I'm talking to and what's going on with your back. I imagine posture is something you want to work on, and wanting to improve your back strength is something that's important. So we're going to have a great workout today. Now, those of you who don't know me, I've been working with older adults for over 16 years, and I've been running my company AIM Fitness for 10 years. And oh, I see scoliosis. Yes, I forgot that one. And over the years, I worked with many people with osteoporosis, scoliosis, compression in their spine, and chronic back pain. So one thing I know is that it can really disrupt your life. If your back is bothering you, you may find that sitting for long periods of time bothers your back. You might find that standing bothers your back. So it is good to know how you can relieve that pain. And I'm sure you know this saying, use it or lose it, right? And it's very true when we think about exercising and moving. A saying that I also love is movement is medicine. When we move our body, it lubricates our joints. It can really help to relieve pain that we may experience. But at the same time, many people I've helped have said, Meg, I'm worried about doing the wrong thing for my back. I'm worried about twisting the wrong way. I know it's important to use weights, but I don't want to make my condition worse. So today I'm going to lead you through some movements and exercises you can do to help strengthen your back. And I'll give you lots of options. So if you find that, oh, I can't do that, or, oh, I've been told I can't do this movement because I have osteoporosis, we'll go over all of that. All right. And then I'm also going to talk to you about certain movements we all should avoid. So that is different ways of lifting or twisting. So I'll run through some of those as well. All right. So today we're going to start in a seated position. We are going to be using a weight. Using a weight is optional. If you have a water bottle, you can use that as well. But most of the exercises today are without using anything at all, any equipment. So if you are on a chair, you can position your chair and position your back so that you're not quite touching the back of the chair. Okay, and those of you who know me know I talk a lot about sitting on the edge of your chair. So this forces you to sit a little bit straighter, okay? So there should be a gap behind your back. So we're gonna start by warming up and circling our shoulders backwards. And because I'm not with you, I'm not face to face, it's hard for me to ask questions or get a response as in, you know, how is your back feeling today? But that's why it's important to pay attention to your body. And the more you can get to know your body, the better it is. So as you're doing this, just notice, where am I on a pain level? If I do have pain in my back, is it a 1? Is it pretty mild? Or would it be a 5? Is it pretty severe? So tune in, notice how you're feeling at this point. And at the end of our workout, I'm going to ask you again to tune in and to check in and see if there's been any improvement, any loosening, if anything feels a little better. And let's change directions now. So we'll circle the other way. Good. And as we exercise, I'm going to remind you to breathe, because quite often we tend to hold our breath. That's pretty common when we're concentrating. All right, changing directions. And let's go the other way again, one shoulder at a time. All right. Good, so breathing in and out. All right, awesome. And then change directions. Again, one shoulder at a time, circling forwards. All right, very good. And I find moving our shoulders, moving our neck is important because we can hold a lot of tension right here as well. So from here, we're going to move into our neck. So just nice and easy. Look over your shoulder, side to side. And again, pay attention to our posture. We're going to be talking a lot about posture. And think right now about sitting a little straighter, keeping your shoulders down and relaxed as we look side to side. All right, very good. Let's do 3 more, still breathing. And never pushing it, never straining beyond what feels good. And 1 more time. All right, it's normal to hear cracking. We're gonna go and look up towards the ceiling, down towards the floor or your legs. Looking up. Breathing in and out as we go. And you'll notice all of the exercises I do today are very gentle. And that's important, I believe, when we're focusing on our back health. All right, again, looking up and down. Breathing in and out. Good, and then 3 more times. Good, and 2. And 1 more time. All right, good. So we're going to stretch into the side of your neck, and I'm going to show you two options you can add on. I'm going to just back up so you can see. So we're going to bring your ear towards your shoulder, and this may be good for you. You may feel a stretch down the side of your neck. Option number 2 is to lift this arm and angle your fingers just a little bit. Arm is straight. Think about pushing away the floor, and this will help to deepen that stretch. Okay, so again, think about lowering your shoulders, pushing away with your hand. And then the second option is to lift your hand and very, very gently just rest your hand on top of your head. So not pushing, not pulling, just resting it there. Okay, take a few deep breaths. If it's too much at any point, you can take your hand off your head or relax your arm down. Good. And it's good to hold this stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds. All right, so using this hand, help your head to come back up. Let's be kind. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So starting with your ear down towards your shoulder, lifting, pressing away with the straight arm. And then the option is to gently press or have your hand on your head. All right, good. Good. So, like I said, we carry a lot of tension in our necks and in our upper back and shoulders. So just stretching and relieving some of this can really help us before we exercise and focus on our back directly. All right, very gently bring your head back up. Good. And then just look gently side to side and just notice how your neck is feeling. All right. Very good. So from here, we're going to move into a stretch for your back. What I want you to do here is to keep your back straight. And for you, maybe your back is not completely straight. We all have a curve to our back. But what I mean is don't round your back. Okay, so keep your back straight, hands on your knees, and we're just going to lean forwards and stop when you can't go any further. Think about bringing your shoulder blades back as we do this, and then sit up nice and tall. All right, so it's like we're hinging right here at our hips. No rounding the back. If you're not sure what you look like, then have a look at the Zoom screen. You'll be able to do like me, turn to the side. You can check out your back, or you can always do this in front of a mirror. All right. Now, for those of you who do have spinal stenosis, often it's in the lower back, and leaning over like this can relieve pressure. So this is a good position to stay in if you are finding that your back is really sore. And if you have osteoporosis, it's best as well not to round your back. We want to protect your spine. So keeping your back straight, still hinging forwards can help give you a bit of relief from any stiffness or pain. All right, good. And some of us are more flexible than others, so don't worry if you're not can't go as far as you think you should, because really it's not a competition. It's just about listening to your back and doing what feels good for you in the moment. All right, another option is you may want to walk your hands down your legs. So see if this feels good for you, keeping your back straight. But if you want to go a bit further, you can reach down towards your toes and then bring your hands back up your legs as you rise. All right, very good. Something else that's common for back pain is to find that you might have a certain position that relieves that pain. So I've been talking about how leaning forwards relieves the low back, but some of you may find that actually leaning back and bringing your shoulders back feels really good. Maybe that's a better position for you. So we're going to add a little bit more to this one. So we're going to lean over, bringing your hands down your legs if you like. And then as you come on up, bring your shoulders back and look up. All right, good. So we're going to do this again. Work at your own pace. We'll do this about 5 more times for each one. Good. And as you rise, shoulders back, looking up, maybe not directly up, but looking to the corner of the room. Good. And keep on breathing. All right, good. One more time. All right. Good. So I'd love to hear from you before we move on to the next exercise. Let me know, and you can say down if leaning forwards helps to relieve your lower back or any pressure there, or say up if looking up tends to feel better on your back for you. Okay, so you can let us know in the chat. So down or up, what feels better for your back? And this is good for you to know. Maybe spend some time stretching later on today and get into a habit. Start doing this every day. Okay, good. Both. Lots of downs. Yeah, awesome. Down, down, lots of downs. Good. And then let me know, are you stretching your back? Is this something that you do all the time? So write a yes if this is part of your routine. Maybe you stretch your back every day or every few days, or not yet if you haven't developed that habit yet. So let us know. Not yet. All right, good. Yeah, I find that the morning is a really good time of day to start exercising and to start with some stretches. Stretching right in bed after you get up, after you go to the bathroom, come back to bed if you want. But there's no other demands on our day, usually first thing. So that's a really good time I would recommend stretching. All right, awesome. So we're going to go into 4 exercises for back strength and relief. So we're going to start here, and you can stay seated, or if you're feeling like, oh, I've been sitting all day, I'd love to stand, then feel free to stand. Most of these can be done either way. So the first one we're going to be doing is the posture squeeze. And we did a little bit of this when we brought our shoulders back. But what you'll do is you're going to reach your arms right in front. Your hands should be no higher than your shoulders. You can follow along. And then we'll bend our elbows back, squeezing our shoulder blades back, also watching that your shoulders stay back. So we're going to reach, bend your elbows, squeeze back. You should be feeling this right between your shoulder blades, right around the upper to mid back. All right, good. So reach in front and then squeeze back. We're going to breathe in as we reach, breathe out and squeeze. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So even if you do have a medical condition, the doctors probably said, well, there's nothing you can do. You can take medication, or they may put a plan together, may give you exercises. But strengthening your back, strengthening the muscles around your spine can help often relieve pain and can increase your mobility as well. So I'm not saying I can cure anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. But like I said, movement is medicine. The more you move, the more likely you are to be able to maintain your strength and your flexibility. Let's do 3 more here. Good, and 2. Good, and 1 more. All right, good. So relax your shoulders. We'll circle our shoulders backwards again, and just give me a wave if you can feel, yes, there was something happening there. I could feel that in my mid back. Did you feel something? Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? So a tip I have for posture, I'm all about getting into routines and habits. And my tip for you on posture is every time you stand up and you get out of a chair, bring your shoulders back. Bring your shoulders back. And the next exercise I have for us will help you remember that too. Okay, so often people, I see this a lot, people stand up and then they start walking and already they're in that position with shoulders rounded. So we want to think about stand up, shoulders back, and now let's get moving. Okay, so this next one will help you remember this one too. So we're going to start with our shoulders up to our ears. So this is 3 steps we're going to do. So step 1, bring your shoulders up. Step 2, bend your elbows, shoulders back. Step 3, relax and lower your shoulders. So again, this is a good way to get back into better alignment, because ideally we want our shoulders to be below our ears, in line with our hips, in line with our knees, in line with our heels. Okay, so let's do this a few times. So we'll do 1 up, 2 back, 3 down. 1 up, 2 back, 3 down. 1 up, 2 back, 3 down. Good, so continue on your own. 1, 2, and 3. Keep going. Remembering to breathe as we go. All right, good. Let's do 3 more here. And 2. And then 1 more. Now see if you can hold this position. Can you keep your shoulders back? Do you feel like your back is engaged? Yeah, it feels good. So the next one we're going to do, I want you to hold this position. You may feel very awkward. This is not usually how we sit, but it's something to start thinking about. How can I sit a little straighter? So now you've got this cue, the 3, 1, 2, 3, reposition. I would recommend just thinking about this as you're sitting. So watching TV in front of a screen. Okay, realign. Let's realign my posture. 1, 2, 3. So the next exercise we're going to do is going to help strengthen your back. We don't need any equipment for this one. So I'm going to show you from the side as well. So we're going to start bent over, hands together in a prayer position. So we're going to lean over, keeping your back nice and straight. Now, if your back does bother you, you don't have to lean as far as I do. So we want to lean over, and then we want to lift your elbows, take your arms away, and lift those hands so they're about as level with your shoulders. Elbows and hands are level, and then bring your hands back down together. Okay, so obviously if you're leaning over more, you're going to feel a little bit more in your back because we have gravity that we're working against. We want to think about squeezing our shoulder blades back as we lift. And then keep your gaze towards the floor in order to relax your shoulders. All right. If your back is bothering you, you say, oh, you know what, leaning over is not great. You can do the same motion sitting straight. Okay, so totally your choice. Or you can try both, see what feels a bit better. All right, now keep going. We're going to do a few more. Those of you who are saying that, thinking you want to stand up, when you stand, bring one foot in front of the other. This will help protect your back by having one foot back. And you can do the same exercise right here, leaning over or a little bit straighter if you'd like. Good. Now you can do this one feet side by side, but anyone with back pain, I always recommend this stance. One foot is slightly in front of the other. Like I said, that will protect your back. And this also goes for if you're just standing, maybe washing some dishes. Instead of standing like this, doing the task, try staggering your feet, bend your knees a little bit, and you may notice that will help relieve pressure on your back as well. All right, good. So we're going to go for 3 more, whatever option you've chosen. Good. All right, finish up your last one. Okay, good. So we'll move back to the chair, or I'll show you the standing option in just a sec. So this time we're going to be sitting, a little straighter is fine, and we're going to start with your elbow bent, so hand on your shoulder. We're going to be lifting your arm up to the side and then lower your elbow down. Option 1, sitting tall. Okay, we want to think about, again, squeezing our shoulder blade back. So we're using our back for this one. Option 2, leaning forwards, keeping your back straight. You'll feel it a little bit more in the mid back, upper back, or the standing option. Again, one foot in front of the other, leaning over a little bit, lifting and lowering to the midline. All right, good. Now, whatever option you choose, keep your gaze down. That relieves any pressure on your neck. And we want to think about breathing, so breathing in and out. Good, let's do 3 more on this side. 2 and 1. Good, all right, rise up. Before we switch sides, circle the arm back. Good, nice and easy, nice and gentle. And then we're going to switch sides. So we'll do the other side. All right, so seated or standing, hand on the shoulder, leaning over, keeping that back straight, lift your elbow and lower it down. So I recommend doing these exercises between 10 and 15 times. Okay, so noticing your back. You'll feel this in the shoulder as well. All right, good. Let's do 5, 4, and 3, 2, and 1. All right, awesome. So we're going to go to the other side. So switching sides again, but first circling back. All right, so going back to our first side. This time, instead of having your hand on your shoulder, we're going to do it with a straight arm. Okay, so I'll show you the standing option first. So we're going to be lifting your arm so it's coming up to the same level as your shoulder, and then lowering your arm down towards the floor. So as you lift, your palm is facing the floor. Okay, if you're doing it seated, same thing, leaning over slightly, lifting, and then lowering that arm. Always thinking about squeezing the arm, squeezing and activating your back as you lift. All right, good. So you can choose your option, standing or seated. Keep going. All right, very good. Let's do a few more here. 3, and 2, and 1. All right, good. Let's circle that arm backwards. And then circle it forwards, other way. All right, great. Let's do the other side. So opposite side now. So again, arm down and then lifting. Lower it down towards your knee or towards your other leg and lifting. Hand no higher than your shoulder. Thinking about squeezing your shoulder blades back. Good. It looks like everyone is doing it, but it's all about going slow, right? All about paying attention to the movement as you're lifting. It's not about speed here. We're not flapping your wings. Good. Let's do 3 more. And 2. And 1. All right. Good. Let's circle the arm backwards. Stretching it out. Just notice how you're feeling here. And then the other way. All right, so if you haven't yet, I invite you to stand up. I'm going to show you a standing exercise that you can do, and we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of back safety and back health as you're moving. So you'll want to face your chair, and we're going to start by being about an arm's length away from your chair, maybe a little bit closer. So Oftentimes when we think about isolating our back and keeping it straight, we find it difficult to do because we're not used to this. We're so used to rounding our back when we're leaning and reaching for things. And practicing and by taking your hips back and doing a standing hip hinge can really help you strengthen the muscles in the back of your legs and also help you to properly lift things. So place your hands on your chair. We're going to do a standing hip hinge. So I want you to bend your knees just a little bit. So keep your knees soft, keep your back straight, and we're going to be leaning over towards your chair. And then stand up nice and tall. So it's almost like your body is in half. Where right here at your hips, we're going to be folding you or bending you over, and then rise back up. All right, good. Let's do that a few times here, leaning over, keeping your back straight. Good. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades back to keep that back straight. That will help. And then rise up. All right, great job. Let's do this a few more times. Leaning over. You may feel this in the back of the legs. Can anyone feel that? Yeah, it's also a really nice stretch for the back of the legs too. All right, let's do 5 more. Good. And let's do 3. And 2. Good. And 1. And then we're going to hold it here a little bit longer. Again, this can really help to relieve low back pain. You might choose to walk your feet back a little bit. You can outstretch your arms if you want. Just let your head hang heavy. Good. I have a few clients with spinal stenosis, and they really like this stretch. This one can really, really help your back just to feel a bit of relief. Okay, very good. So slowly come on up, walking your feet up in as you go. Good. And while we're standing, I'm going to have you follow along with some safe movements when you're thinking about outdoor activities and also thinking about doing things like vacuuming and raking. So I'm going to show you what not to do first. So don't do this, and then I'll get you to practice what is safer to do. So one thing people often do is they will round their back to pick up something off the floor. So it often looks like this. They bend their knees very little, they round their back, they reach, and then they come up all the way like this. And basically you're using your back to lift a heavy object. So we want to avoid that. Instead, you can join me now. We want to have one foot slightly in front of the other. So your feet can still be as wide as your hips. We want to bend your knees, doing our hip hinge, which we've practiced, and then bend to go a little lower, reach, and then rise up by straightening the legs, and at the same time straighten your back. Okay, so if you have something light, like maybe you have, I've got my dog's little blanket, but maybe if you have a pillow or something light and you want to practice, you can put this on the floor. Okay, so let's do this a few more times. We'll do it 5 times on each side. So again, bend those knees, hips back, back is straight, lean and reach, and then rise up, straightening the legs, keeping that back straight as we go. All right, I'm curious to see what your objects are. Good. So here we go, hips back and lower that object down and stand back up. Good, so let's do it again. Good, reach, bending into the knees, keep that back straight. A good place to practice this is in front of a mirror or on the Zoom call like this. Again, back down, back up. Good, and then you can lower that item down. We're going to do the same thing with the other leg. All right, good. So we really want to protect our spine. If you have osteoporosis, you really want to make sure your back stays straight when you're lifting. So let's do it about 5 times here on this side, opposite leg in front. Same concept, back straight, bending into the knees, hips back. One side may feel a little bit more awkward. We tend to have our favorite side, our dominant side, but it is important to practice with both. Good, so you'll probably feel this in the legs. This is a variation on the lunge. All right. Good, let's do a few more here. All right, one more time. Good. All right, so we'll step side to side. You can hold on to whatever item you have just to stretch it out a bit. Good. All right, so the next one we're going to do, this you could injure yourself if you're reaching for something in your trunk. So you can just imagine this is my car here. This is my trunk. Got heavy grocery bags. Often what I see people do, and what is common, is to again lean over, bend round your back, pick something up and twist and then rise up. We want to avoid that. We want to avoid the rounding. We also want to avoid the lift and twist. So instead, what we want to do, again, we want to have one foot in front of the other, bend those knees, reach for that heavy grocery item, pick it up, bring those feet together, and then turn and walk instead of twisting. So let's try this. Again, repetition is really helpful. And this is information you can share with other people that you know and love as well. So put that item on your chair, one foot in front of the other, bend your knees. Let's reach, pull that item into you, rise up, bring your feet together, and then turn using your feet, and then take a few steps the other way. Okay, change legs this time. Opposite foot in front. Same thing, bend the knees, back straight, reach, bring that item in, feet together, and then turn. Okay, and it is good to just be mindful of the movements that we do with our back. Let's do it one more time, each side. You can go at your own pace. There's certain things we have to do, right? And I'm bone fit trained. So I took a training with the Osteoporosis Canada. And they said, you know, you have to get ready. You have to take care of yourself. You want to avoid repetitive motions and overdoing it. But at the same time, there's things that you do need to do. So if you are, doing up your shoes, you want to keep your back straight, but you can't avoid that movement. So it is about knowing your limits and what feels good and what doesn't. All right. On that note, a few movements you want to watch if you do have osteoporosis or back pain are these. So I'm going to sit back down on the chair and just show you this one. So repetitive movements, such as leaning to the side, lifting up something heavy that's maybe fallen on the floor. Maybe it's even reaching for your coffee mug if you're sitting. So again, you want to watch that, maybe move your body the other way and keep your back straight and reach for that item. Or even better, keep that item higher up if it's really heavy. So you're not having to lean and compress your spine. So it's about being aware of where are you positioning things, what are you doing? All right, so we're next going to be moving to 4 exercises for our core. And why are we doing core exercises when this is all about your back? So you may know a little bit about the core, but our core starts here and wraps all the way around and actually connects to the muscles in our back. And our core muscles are responsible for twisting, leaning, reaching, and rotating as well. Okay, I've got a few questions and we'll get to them at the end. I'll have some time that I'll answer them. So if you have questions, put them in the chat. So having a strong core can actually help to relieve back pain. It can help you sit straighter as well. And simple things like getting out of a chair or getting out of bed. How many of you, when you get out of bed in the morning, roll to the side and then use your hands to push you up? How many of you lie down and lift yourself all the way up straight. Not many of us, right? That requires core strength. And I have found when I've worked with people and said, all right, we're going to focus on strengthening your core, they find that their back actually is helped. It helps to relieve pressure on their back. So the two are really hand in hand. Strengthen core, stretch back, and strengthen core. So we're going to start with an exercise here. This one is the single knee lift. So again, you can sit down on your chair, or I'll show you a standing option. So this time we are going to lean against the back of your chair. So I suggest sitting near the edge or near the middle of the chair, recline all the way back. And then we're going to bring your arms out to the side. So you want your back to be straight. And you want to lift your knee and tap your hands to the side of your knee and then lower that foot back down. As you lift your knee, pull your stomach in. So you want to think about pulling it in just like you're doing up a pair of really tight pants. All right. So we're focusing on the same leg. Pull it in, tighten, and lower down. Tighten and lower down. Now I will show the second option. If you consider yourself to be someone with a strong core already, maybe you're doing a lot of core exercises, this is a little harder, but you can hold on to the base of the chair and do both legs together. So the double knee lift. All right, now right away, if you find, ooh, that puts too much pressure on my back, then we'll do one knee at a time. Okay, but the double knee is something to work up towards, perhaps. All right, good. So let's do the other leg if you haven't changed yet. Tightening up the core and lowering down. And just look straight ahead. What I like about exercising in the chair is that it takes off all the pressure from your neck. So instead of straining on the floor, maybe doing crunches or sit-ups, you can get a really good core workout, but you don't need to go on the floor. All right, one more if you can. Those of you who want to do the double knee lift, see if you can do a few more. 3 more together if you can. 2 and 1. Good. All right, so let's stretch it out. Let's bring your hands to your knees like we started with. Keep that back straight. Good. Take a few deep breaths. Good, and then we'll sit a little straighter. So again, move to the edge of your chair for this next one. Walk your feet away from you and bring your arms across your chest. This one is called the reverse sit-up, an alternative to the sit-up on the floor. So we're gonna lean back, keep your back straight. Don't touch the back of the chair. So pause right before, and then tighten up the core as you shift forwards, keeping that back straight. So leaning back, breathe in. And then breathe out as you lean forwards. Good, so inhale and exhale. Now for your neck, make sure that you're looking straight ahead. So find a focal point right in front of you and keep looking at it as you move backwards and forwards. All right. So it's as we lean back towards the chair, that's where you're going to feel your stomach muscles tightening up. Give me a wave if you can feel something happening. Oh, yes. Yeah, this is a really good one. All right, excellent. Good. So let's do 2 more here. Good. And then 1 more time. All right. Great. The next one we're going to do, this is called the twist, and there's a few options. Option 1 is to bring your hands together. If you have osteoporosis or any back pain, then what you want to do is you want to face the front of the room. Just move the arms. Just doing this will cause your core to activate. You will feel it. You might feel it in your back as well. Another option is to grab a weight or even a water bottle and to do that same motion, bringing your weight towards your hip. If you don't have one right now, that's okay. You can, it's just as effective to hold on to anything really, see what's around the house, or just move those hands. Okay, good. And then to make sure you're activating your core, pull in your stomach as you twist. So I like to pull it in, release as I twist, and pull it in again as I turn to the other side. Good. Now I have a little saying for you all if you want to think about tightening up your core more often. And some of you who know me have probably heard this before. Tighten your core as you walk through the door. Tighten your core as you walk through the door. So the whole idea is every time you go from one room to the other, pull your stomach in, just like you're doing up a pair of pants, just like you're tightening up a tight belt. Pull that stomach in and hold it for maybe 1 or 2 seconds and then release. You can keep walking normally, you don't have to stop, but this little rhyme just reminds you to be mindful and use your core. All right, so we're going to do one more here. This one is called the wood chop. This is a variation on it. We're going to bring your hands together again. We're going to reach up over top of your head, over to one side, and then bring your hands to the other side, towards the other hip, just like you're going to chop down a tree. All right, so up and lower down. Good, so tighten up your core as you reach, squeeze as you add that swing. Inhale and exhale. Good, inhale and exhale. Good, one more. All right, good, we'll circle your shoulders backwards. This one, you'll feel your back working too. And then we're gonna do the other side. So opposite side, and just notice if one side is easier than the other, or maybe one side feels a little bit better or more natural even. Breathing in and out, tightening up that core. Just a reminder that you're not touching the back of your chair for this one. Good, 2 more. And 1. All right, excellent. So let's bring our hands back to our knees. We're going to lean over again to stretch, to relieve any pressure here on your low back. Bring your shoulders back as we do this. Relax your head, look down. Take a few deep breaths. And then come on up. Good. We're going to add a little bit more to this stretch. So we're going to be seated still and move right to the edge of your chair if you aren't. And we're going to extend one leg in front. So flex your foot so your toe is pointing up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to lean over. So hinging again at your hips. You can bring one hand down that leg. And this will help to stretch the back of the leg right into your hamstrings. You'll feel this in your low back as well. And then slowly come on up. Good, we'll do the other leg. Good, so point that toe up, flex the foot, and lean. You may not go too far, don't worry about that. The point is to stretch your back and the back of the leg. All right, very good. Great job. So then we'll finish up. We're almost done, and then we'll do a few questions. I have a few things to share as well. Hands on your shoulders, and we'll circle those arms backwards. Good. So I did want to let everybody know that if you are looking for a way to exercise more regularly, I have a TV show on Rogers TV called Fit Over 50 with Meg. So if you have watched it, let me know in the comment section. Last month, I was at Rogers and I was filming season 2. Let's do one arm at a time, so circling back. So I was filming season 2. Season 2 is going to be coming out sometime in May. So you can either tune in Rogers TV, channel 22, and I'm on every morning, 8:30 to 9 a.m. Mondays to Friday, and then Saturdays a little bit later, around 10 o'clock. All right, good. Now let's bring those elbows a little higher and then lower those elbows towards your body. So up and down. And if you don't have Rogers, you can catch the replays. And I do send out an email, usually once a week, once every 2 weeks, to my email list. So if you do want to join my email list, reach out. You can visit my website. You can sign up right there. But I do send the replays of the Rogers TV shows if you're there. All right, let's do one more here. Good. And as we finish with some breathing, we'll reach your arms back, squeezing your shoulder blades back. Check in again with yourself and just notice, how is your back feeling now? How is your body feeling now? You can let us know in the comment section or just make a mental note of any improvements that you may feel. I tend to find whenever I exercise and stretch, I always feel good, whether it's feeling looser, more flexible, more inspired. Good. All right, let's do one more. All right, good. One more deep breath together. Let's breathe in, reach up, and breathe out. Give yourself a hug and a pat on your back. All right, amazing, amazing job. So before everyone leaves, I am going to answer a few questions that may be here, so feel free to put them in the chat. I talked a little bit about osteoporosis. Next month, I am going to be leading you through a workout if you do have osteoporosis or if you're wanting to improve your bone strength. You don't have to have osteoporosis to join. Anyone can participate, but it's going to be a weight-bearing workout using weights. So lots of standing exercises really designed to improve your bone strength. So that's next month. So make sure you sign up when Antoine sends that out. All right. And this class will be shared. Yes, yeah, definitely. It will be shared. I'm just sharing my website here. Okay, and I'm going to have a look to see if we've got any questions. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. We've got a few minutes to go through them. All right, and you can also think about if you are going to start stretching every day, what will that look like? Are there a few of these stretches and exercises that you enjoyed, that you found were helpful? All right. Okay, so one question is, when you do the first bend and reach, is your weight evenly distributed over both feet? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that's something to watch for. Often when we're leaning, especially if one foot is in front of the other, there may be a little bit more weight over the front foot. So that's okay, but you don't want your back heel to lift. If it's lifting, it means you need to redistribute your weight. All right, question about carrying a backpack. So if you have back pain or your back bothers you, I would say just see how that feels. If it tends to bother you and you do carry a backpack, maybe you want to watch how much weight you have in the backpack. I think a backpack tends to be better than carrying something on one shoulder. I've talked to some physiotherapists who've said, oh, that's the biggest issue that they're dealing with, is people who have their purse or their groceries always on the same side. So a backpack will redistribute the weight. But just see if it is bothering you, see if there's anything you can take out of that. Is there a modification for single knee lift and reverse sit up if you can't lean back? Yes, definitely. You can do the single knee lift so that you're leaning right back against your chair, so your back is straight. So you can still lift one knee up at a time, but instead of sitting away from the chair, lean all the way back. Just make sure your back is straight. And then if you can't do the reverse sit up, you can't lean back, you can still lean forward slightly. So do the same thing, have your back pressing against the chair, tighten up your core, and then lean forwards just slightly, hinging forwards, keeping your back straight, and then move back into the straight position. Okay, Martha said, try to do my fitness class each morning. Okay, great. I hope there's more weights in the next session. Yes, Martha, you're in luck. I sent out a poll and I had lots of people say they love the weights. So many of the workouts are using weights. So you'll be happy to hear that. All right, someone shares from pain to no pain. Amazing. Back feels good, but shoulders feel tight. Neck seems to be a bit looser. Okay. And what kind of services do you offer? So my team and I, we offer quite a few. We do in-home personal training. If you are wanting to work one-on-one with someone who will give you specific exercises for whatever condition you have. And it starts with a fitness assessment. So we find out what hurts, what feels good, what are your abilities right now, and then we put together a plan based on that. And then with NAFR, I do have a special promotional code that will come out with the email as well, but I have a fitness membership that you can join. And I've put together 15 to 30-minute awesome workouts that include everything from strengthening with weights to stretches and balance. And it's a monthly program. So you save 33% if you sign up with the coupon code that I offer just to NAFR members. So happy to chat with you. And if you go to my website, I shared that link, then you can definitely book a 15-minute health chat with me. That's free, no obligations, but I can tell you a bit more about our services and then find out what your goals are. Is it better to keep the core engaged when doing all these back exercises and stretches? Yes, yeah, great question. It can be hard to keep it tight the whole time. So I would recommend if you're lifting your knee off the floor, that's when you want to pull in your core. That's when you want to activate it. And if you are, let's say, leaning over, lifting your arms, tighten your core as you lift the arms and then relax your core as you lower. It's hard to keep it engaged the whole time. Most people find that. So if you can tighten it at certain points, then yes, it will help. Okay, great. Standing version of single knee lift. The reverse sit-up, there's no standing version. But if you are wanting to work a little harder for the reverse sit-up, you can hold on to your weight. Okay, so I'll show you that option. So you can hold on to one or two weights, sitting up nice and tall, leaning back, and then sitting tall. Okay, so that just gives you a little bit of extra weight. Make sure you hold it really close to your chest. And then the standing option for the single knee lift also works the core. And you're going to do something like this. I suggest starting by holding onto a chair, reaching, tighten up the core as I talked about the importance there. And you can also get fancy and do opposite arm, opposite leg. Okay, lots of options. Lots of options. All right, I think there's a few more comments. Do you have a PDF document for today's exercises? Great question. I do not. That's something I could put together in the future, but that would be a future thing for sure. So the best bet is to watch this video again and just skip ahead to the exercises. All right. All right, so I think that's it. Good. So I hope everyone is feeling good. Thank you so much for participating and for spending your morning with me. And I hope that you guys keep going. Remember, keep on building a habit by starting first thing and just notice those improvements. Yeah, your back may not improve overnight, but it's little steps. It's little things that you can do. And then my tip that I shared with you earlier, every time you stand up, bring those shoulders back. Get into that routine as well for better posture. All right, awesome. Thanks, everybody. You're so welcome. My pleasure.
That was great.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
I just have a few words to finish us off. So, of course, the Ottawa branch wants to thank Meg for the excellent workout today. And just to remind everyone here that we will be sending out a follow-up email, which will include information on how to access today's recording and some more information about AIM Fitness and that Rogers TV show that Meg was talking about. And also remember that you can invite non-members to attend these webinars and to try us out as guests. So to register for upcoming webinars, you can visit our Ottawa branch website, and that address will be in our follow-up email as well. So thank you, everyone, and see you at our next webinar. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.